welcome back, everyone. We're here for our mock draft, and with me, as always, we have James Maertens. Say hi to the people, James.
What's up, guys? Happy to be back. Third place finisher, reigning third place finisher, I guess. And I get draft number 11. So that's how we're starting off on a good foot. But no, man,
Yep,
happy to be
that
here.
is correct. Yep, you got 11th, and I am picking at 7th. So we're going to get this thing started because we have some antsy people waiting for us. All right, so the first pick, we got Coyote, who is my uncle. You probably recognize him, the godfather of fantasy himself, Mark. So we're going to see what he does here at first.
He was not in the draft last year, correct?
I don't believe so, but he actually called into the show, and he likes to remind me that he was the first fan of the podcast. So all right, looks like he took Jahmyr Gibbs, and then we got Jamar Chase at the second. We have Alpaca, who is the reigning champ from last year. He is on the clock.
He had a really great run at the end. So, again, it's cliche, but it's not about how you start. It's about how you finish. So,
yeah, in all the years I've done fantasy, the biggest decider between these isn't necessarily the draft. It's how you work the wire. It's how you deal with those injuries, those bye weeks, and that is which you can kind of prevent. You know, you can look at the bye weeks at your draft board, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be guaranteed a winner. So,
in the end, it's all about the strategy. So, I'm not surprised. First two picks. Detroit's still going to have a solid offensive line this year. I'll bring up their Pro Football Focus rankings a little bit later on. Jamar Chase, Burrow's back. That's going to help tremendously. Cincinnati's upgraded their roster a little bit. So, good start.
Yeah, I know the big talk here at the 101 is, are you taking Bijan? Are you taking Jahmyr Gibbs? For me, my 101 this year was Jamar Chase. So if I would have gotten the first pick, I would have taken Chase there. Just because depending on the format of your fantasy leagues, I like to go wide receiver. Get those, especially if it's a full PPR system. But Jahmyr Gibbs is a good pick there. He's a pass-catching running back. So is Bijan, but I think, like you said, the Lions have a better situation than the Falcons. So that's been kind of my decider there.
You said the understatement is Bijan Robinson gets picked. Ballsy for Alpaca, but he knows what he's doing. Again, reigning champion. But Atlanta's a mess. Absolute mess. They don't know who their solid QB1 is. They are having injuries right and left. And I don't know. I mean, Bijan's going to be security blankets. They're going to get a lot of points there, but it's just too risky for me. I'm staying away from Atlanta. I'm staying away from Miami. Those two teams for sure. I'm not even touched with a 10-foot pole. Probably the Jets.
I agree with you.
Well, throw them in.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Like Drake London, really low on my rankings. Bijan, I mean, he's up there. He's a top 5 running back, but just because of the talent. But I'm taking Gibbs above him. And really the only one that I could have a decent year is Kyle Pitts, a tight end, just as a safety blanket for whoever is the quarterback. But yeah, Atlanta is a hot mess express right now.
Well, Pitts has been a hot mess in the past couple of years as well. Just really low yard to target ratio. Just has had trouble with his hands holding onto the ball. I've had him in a few leagues myself last couple of years, been severely disappointed. So he's in a cycle where he has to earn my respect back before I draft him into maybe some later lineups in single games.
Right. Yeah, that's been the topic of discussion is he hasn't done really anything since that 1,000-yard rookie season he had. And it could be him. It could be the Falcon system itself. Yeah, there's a lot of unknowns.
We got NFC West on the docket for the projected players. Puka Nacua, of course, already legendary wide receiver out of the Rams. Christian McCaffrey making his own case for a future Hall of Fame bid out of San Francisco. And of course, Jackson Smith and Jigba, that record-setting year last year, sweeping a lot of the honors. And Seattle's still going to be good. Maybe not as good as last year, but as and Jigba goes next, looks like.
Yeah, looks like Jackson did go next. And now we have Chloe, the little munchkin, up next.
So I know, Chris, you've done some perspective on the draft and some recaps and stuff in your podcast, but just to recap kind of how that went and your thoughts going into this draft of who did well in the draft, who didn't do well in the draft, that sort of thing.
This year, last year, what do you mean?
This last year, 2026.
I mean, with Mendoza, I think he's the king of the draft. What I've seen with preseason so far, I think he is that, that 101 talent. My concern is obviously Jeremiah Love. And not necessarily Love, it's the Cardinals themselves. I don't trust that organization. I mean, we've seen it. They gave him 14 attempts in a meaningless game in the preseason, and now he's got a high ankle sprain. So that's my biggest takeaway is how are the Cardinals going to deal with Jeremiah Love, this golden goose on a platter, and they're either going to get smart and use him correctly, or they're going to do things like this where they give him 14 opportunities in a meaningless game, and then now he's injured and might miss week 1. So I think that is my biggest takeaway is the Cardinals themselves. The Vikings, I'm still waiting on their first round pick. He was coming into the draft injured. I know he was ranked as a top 5 pick towards the beginning of that year, but as the draft went soon, everyone was kind of like, what is Minnesota doing taking a injured player in the first round? I guess I'm curious on your takes there as well. That was a big topic coming out of that draft.
Yeah, I didn't like it, and I'll share more about that in a little bit as we get a couple picks coming in, and you're on the clock. Chloe, great pick. Jonathan Taylor. Better running backs from last year. Indianapolis, 4th best offensive line on Pro Football Focus. They're returning a lot of their great guys. One of the best left sides in the entire league. He's a guy that I wanted to pick if he slid through, but of course I'm number 11, so what?
Yeah.
But and Christian McCaffrey, I wouldn't have picked him. I honestly think he's peaked. I think that San Francisco organization, there's something in the water with the injuries, and he'll get his numbers, but I don't think he's first round anymore. I just don't think he is.
It's scary with McCaffrey. He's coming off that great year last year. He was pretty healthy, and that's a big concern with running backs. Like Saquon Barkley, for example. He had that stellar year, and then last year he was kind of invisible. And then now that seems to be kind of the trend with these running backs is like they have a really great year, and then the following year they just kind of fall off the cliff. And this might be Christian McCaffrey like hitting the cliff hard, just like we're waiting for Derrick Henry to do finally. So I am on the clock, looking at my rankings and looking at where we're at of the draft here. I'm gonna go wide receiver, and since you brought him up, I like the pick here. I'm taking Puka Nacua. Now, okay. I want to vibe check with you. Yeah. Do you think he'll get suspended? I don't know if you've been following that storyline.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not more than a game or two. I don't know. Has it been finalized? It sounds
nothing's been finalized. It seems to be all behind the scenes. They've come out and said that this is a serious situation. We're taking it seriously. No word yet on a suspension, but I can't see for more than a game or two either. So James Cook goes next, followed by Chase Brown. The Chase-O-meter makes it into round 1 this year. What do you think of that one?
Yeah, I think Megan's a little bummed that she didn't get him this year. Congrats, by the way, last year's prop. I was looking good the first 10, 12 weeks of the season, and then he caught fire and snuck into that top 10. So, Megan, good pick. I challenge you, if you got another prop, I'd love to see if you can steal $10 more from me, or 20, whatever it was. But looking at what we got on the board, I think Puka Nacua, it's an okay pick. he's definitely first round worthy. He's not the first receiver I would have chosen. I would have chosen Amon-Ra St. Brown. I just think he's just a solid player. But Megan picked that. So I'm going to go with the next best bet. Dallas is still going to throw the ball a bunch. Dak Prescott still capable of throwing that ball a bunch. CeeDee Lamb still capable of grabbing that ball and running with that ball a bunch. I'm going to go CeeDee Lamb here at pick number 11. Not going to go with my guy Justin Jefferson from Minnesota.
I
Personal
like that
reasons
pick there.
and
I
doesn't
think
have a
I think
quarterback.
Dallas is going to be
So
firing on all cylinders.
yeah.
Well, he does, but we'll talk about that. So Josh Allen goes next. No surprise there. If you
Nope.
aren't aware, or you haven't heard from the show, my mom is a giant Josh Allen fan, so she will take him first round wherever she can. And then Drake London goes next, and you're on the clock, Jim.
I am indeed. Looks like I'm having some internet.
So we got some technical difficulties on James's side, so we'll just kind of go through here. Looks like you take an AJ Brown to pair up with CeeDee Lamb. Justin Jefferson goes next with Megan to pair up with St. Brown. A lot of wide receivers going here. Not surprised though, it is a full PPR league. And then Kenneth Walker goes and Devon Achane, which leads me up. So I took Puka Nacua to go first. Looking at the wide receivers, I do like George Pickens here. I like Nico Collins. Look at the running backs. We got Barkley, Genty, Hampton, Henry. I don't have too long of a wait, so I think I'm going to go with two wide receivers here. And I am going to go with, it's either going to be George Pickens or Nico Collins. You know, with the Jaden Higgins injury, Nico Collins is interesting here, but George Pickens is very productive with Dallas. But I'm going to ultimately go with Nico, and I'm going to get the pairs of top targets in their offenses. So I'm taking Nico Collins here. Brock Bowers goes next, which seems to be a typical move with him going somewhere in the second round. What are your thoughts on the Raiders this year, Jim?
Yeah, so my apologies if I popped off there for a little bit, having some connection issues. But Bowers is someone that I would have loved to steal. I did think about taking him second, but I let him slide. Just kind of going with a different route, different strategy, and just catching up on some of the other picks. I think Achane is a little bit shaky from Miami. Pick two running backs as well this early, not pick a receiver. But everything else so far has been right on schedule.
Yeah, if you haven't watched my episode yet on the steals and busts, I did have Devon Achane as a bust this year at where he's going in drafts. Miami is just a hot mess express, just like the Falcons. I get it; he's going to be a workhorse back. He's going to get a lot of targets, a lot of handoffs, but I don't think the touchdowns are going to be there. I don't think the production is going to be there because the team itself is going to hold him back. So that's where my head's at with Achane. I'm out on him this year in drafts where he's going. All right, picking up here, bunch of running backs. Barkley, Genty, Hampton, Derrick Henry, Jeremiah Love, and then George Pickens to mark at the turn here. That is a lot of running backs in the second round. That is typically what I've been seeing. It's a lot of running backs in this second round, and then a lot of wide receivers go in the third round. So that's typical draft so far. Chris Olave goes next. And then Trey McBride, second tight end off the board. Usually he's going in the second round, so I think Alpaca got him cheap there in the third. And then Kyron
Yeah,
Williams.
Alpaca's
The
been
big
getting
debate with Kyron Williams right
good.
now is Blake Corum. Do you see any issues with Kyron there in the third with Blake Corum and the supposed production that he'll steal from him?
I mean, not right now. I mean, it's more the combination that I see some problems with Ashton Janty. Um, it's not like Oakland. It's not like Las Vegas's O line got tremendously better, and
Right.
Kirk Cousins is going to throw the ball down the field, so that's going to eat up with some yardage for Ashton. He's still going to get his yards, of course, but I don't know that I like the combination. I maybe like them individually, but paired with someone that maybe has better production value.
Right. That's a good point to bring out. Yeah, the combination is iffy. Which which week do you think Cousins gets swapped out for Mendoza? I'm thinking week 5.
Oh my gosh. I think he makes it a little bit longer than that, maybe a week 8 or week 9. I can see the Raiders going like 4-4. Maybe they're kind of in the playoff chase, and Kubiak decides to just pull a rabbit out of the hat. The rabbit being Mendoza. Mendoza maybe has a good game, maybe doesn't. If he does, he sticks. If not, Cousins comes back. Cousins is getting there in years. Injuries always going to be a factor, especially in a high octane league, and with that tough schedule, playing the AFC West, good defenses like the Broncos and the Chargers. Cousins' time might be numbered, but it should be numbered. I don't think he makes it the full season, but I think he makes it maybe a little bit farther than week 4, week 5.
That's a good point. Cousins could surprise everybody with that offense. Okay, so we got Tyler Warren going next to Chloe, and then we got T. Higgins going right before me. I am on the clock. I got Puka and Nico. I probably should take a running back here since they're all kind of soaking up. I am out on Jacobs. I don't know what's going on with him. He is injured. Same thing with Brees Hall. He is injured now. So I'm looking at guys like Javonte Williams, Bucky Irving, Scattaboo. David Montgomery is a guy that I really like this year. I think he's going to be a workhorse. But given the situation that I'm in, I'm going to pull the trigger, and I'm going to get a piece of that Dallas offense because I did like his production last year. I'm going to go with Javonte here to pair up with Nico and Puka. We got Rashee Rice going next. That's another one of my bust picks. I am out on Rashee Rice. I mean, there's a possibility that he is still suspended. You want to do a vibe check on the Chiefs for like a couple seconds before you pick here?
Do I have to? No, I don't know. I'm kind of done with them. I'm kind of over it. I think they're getting into the has-been pile. I don't see them resurrecting themselves. I know Mad Dog, I think on ESPN, thinks that Mahomes is going to have this grand year. I think they've all peaked. The division's getting a lot tougher now with Las Vegas being relevant, Denver and the Chargers being solid.
Yep.
It's going to be a fun division to watch. Don't get me wrong, but I just don't think it's the same team as it was before. So.
No, I'm right there with you. There has been. I'm not taking too many shares of Chiefs. So we got Brees Hall going next, Bucky Irving to Megan, and then now you're on the clock with AJ Brown and CeeDee Lamb.
Megan stole another one of my picks here. I'm in trouble with a running back. That's the risky take of taking 2 wideouts early. Looking at the Scattaboo is wild card. Jacobs is lucky he's not arrested yet. You got all these other guys coming in. Houston could be interesting, but that Chicago offense is still going to be very good. I'm going to go with Swift here. I think that's a pretty safe pick. Chicago's offense, I think, is top 5 in Pro Football Focus for their offensive line, so that's where I'm going.
I like Swift there. Swift I think he's a little underrated. I think the Chicago Bears are going to be a really great offense, so I do like to pick there. Sam Laporta goes next on the turn to pair up with Drake London and Josh Allen. I would have taken Scattaboo there where I was at 7, but with the Najee Harris signing, that running back room is very crowded, and I don't know what's going on with Matt Nagy. So that's why I ultimately went with Javonte. He seems to be the guy there in Dallas.
Yeah, we finally have a little bit of a lull here, and I'm back on the clock as Flowers from Baltimore goes there to Ms. Opitz. So let's see. I got 2 wide receivers, a running back. I could go QB here. Lamar Jackson, Drake May, Joe Burrow. Should I steal Burrow from you there?
You already know the answer to that one.
Well, because I
But hey,
like
do
you,
it
I
too
think
much.
I think
Do it too
because I
much.
like you, I think I'll let you have him. But I've got CeeDee Lamb, I got AJ Brown, so I need a stack, right? That's fantasy draft 101. You stack your quarterback with your wide receiver or your running back. I'm taking Drake May off the board here. Had a good year last year. I think that continues. Their schedule's getting a little tougher, but I still think he can sling that ball with AJ Brown. Brown's going to be our number one target, and yeah, I'm okay with my lineup so far.
I love the May Brown stack this year. AJ Brown's a top 5 wide receiver for me, so I love the pick. Cam Scattaboo goes next. Not surprised. Scattaboo's been kind of her guy the last couple years, so not surprised she took Bucky and Scattaboo combination there.
And that right now is the
I thought maybe she was
flashiest
going to take
lineup.
Burrow for me.
Oh, flashiest lineup with Cam and Bucky and Justin. I mean, get your popcorn ready. That could be a lot of fireworks.
Ooh, Jalen Waddle goes next. Jalen Waddle and then Malik Neighbors. I am on the clock. So we got Lamar, we got Burrow, we got Daniels at quarterback. I could take a second running back here.
We already know what you're doing.
Do you, though?
I mean, maybe not. Maybe you're going to really roll the dice here.
I'm taking David Montgomery.
Ooh.
Montgomery, I think, he's going to be awesome this year.
Okay.
I like David Montgomery. I know the offensive line can be shaky in Houston, but I just have good vibes coming out of Houston with the Montgomery signing. So I'm going to go with Montgomery, and I'm going to risk it. Maybe Burrow makes it back to me. We'll see.
Risk it for the biscuit, man.
Don't think he will because you got T. Higgins and Chase right before me, so they could be going for that stack. But I'm going to go with David Montgomery. I like the pick there. Then we got Colston Loveland. After me at tight end. He's going 2 tight ends. He's got Loveland and Bowers, which is an interesting strategy there.
Yeah, the trick, and I was just scrolling through here with the Pro Football Focus rankings. The trick with Montgomery is Houston's got the 27th ranked offensive line. So what I've always said is go with the offensive line and start there and work your way after that. So he's definitely going to get touches, 100%, especially close to the end zone. Montgomery might be up there, top 3 running backs within 6 yards of the end zone, which gives you a lot more touchdowns. So that is a good.
That's kind of that's an excellent point because that's part of the reasoning behind why I love him so much this year. Is he is top of the league for touches within the 6 or 5, and he is going to get opportunities, and I think he's just going to smash. We got Devontae Adams going after Loveland, and then Tedero McMillan to pair up with Jackson Smith-Njigba next. Do you think Devontae this is like his last year, or you think he's got some life in him?
So. I'd have to imagine this is it. I mean, he's won a Super Bowl, right? With the Rams? He won it with them a couple years ago?
No, he would have. He had to have won one with Rodgers, right?
No. Because Green Bay hasn't won one since 2009, 2008. Okay. And Adams wasn't there, I don't think, then. But you have to go back and check the record books on that one and see when.
I'll check the record book on that one. We got Travis Etienne going next, Devontae Smith, and Ladd McConkey. So Ladd McConkey's one that I'm always on the fence with in these drafts because he's a great prospect. He's a great wide receiver. I feel like he just doesn't get the production there in the Chargers.
Yeah.
And Emeka Egbuka goes. And Garrett Wilson.
McConkey used maybe sporadically. It would probably be the best word for that on returns as well. So
yeah.
But I think it's a good secondary wide receiver pick. I like what Mark's doing so far.
Yeah, he's like I said, he's the Godfather. He knows what he's doing. He usually goes hard on running backs typically Now, I don't know if he's doing this to show off, and then he'll do a different strategy this weekend at our family league. But yeah, he's usually pretty good at finding that balance with the positions. Like I said, Garrett Wilson goes next. Jadarian Price going, and then Lamar Jackson, third quarterback off the board.
You think it's odd that we've only had 3 quarterbacks so far in round was this 5?
So there's a couple of guys in here that I've met through fantasy on this app, and knowing how they draft, they typically take quarterbacks in the 6th or 7th round because that's just kind of how a lot of drafters are pounded into their veins. So no, I'm not surprised that we've only got 3 based on the kind of people that we have drafting in this board. Now, typically, you by this point you've probably seen 4 or 5 go already. Like Burrow would most likely be off the board now, and then Jaden Daniels will usually go around this spot. But no, I'm not surprised with this current lineup of teams we have. What's your thoughts on Lamar this year?
I think he's peaked. I think
Yeah, I think so too, unfortunately.
I think him and Allen kind of went on the same road for the majority of their career, and Allen just went up, on the overpass, and Lamar's going down on the underpass. But I would love to be surprised. Love to be pleasantly surprised.
Speaking of surprised, my sister just hit my shit list. So Joe Burrow goes to Chloe. I'm going to have words with that little one later. Then Josh Jacobs goes next. I am on the clock. Puka, Nico, Javonte, and Montgomery. Looking at the quarterbacks, I mean, Caleb Williams is there. I like the Bears this year. You got Hurts. I'm out on the Eagles. Jaden Daniels, I don't know what's going on with him. Looking at wide receivers, you got Burden, McLaurin, Jamison Williams. DJ Moore I really like this year. So I think I'm going to wait on quarterback, and I'm going to take another wide receiver here, and I'm going to throw my hat into the ring, and I'm going to go with DJ Moore to get 3 number 1 targets for these offenses. And then Kyler Murray goes.
You took my next clear shot.
All right. Was that what you're going with?
DJ Moore. Yeah, Buffalo. Good selection. I think he's going to have a great year.
I love DJ Moore this year. He's one of my steals of the draft. He's going much later, actually, but I figured with Josh Allen on the turn, he probably wouldn't make it back to me. And then Kyler Murray. All right, we got a little bit of time here. When you heard the news of Kyler Murray being quarterback 1, what was your reaction?
I thought, is there anybody else?
There is McCarthy and Carson Wentz.
It's like the Three Stooges, man. It's like who's going to show up and actually be QB1? Now, credit to Kyler, he proved that he is, of the 3 of them, QB1. But ESPN's ranking them, Minnesota, that is, at number 26 out of 32 teams as far as teams for quarterbacks. That tells you all you need to know. And I just don't like Kyler Murray's size in the NFC North. I think he's going to get crumpled easily. And he's going to swing the ball down the field. He'll win a few games. I think the projections for over-under for Minnesota are somewhere like 9 or 8, 9. No.
I think the last line I saw was 9. Yeah, okay, we got Luther Burden, Harold Bannon, and then now you're on the clock, Jim.
Gosh, this is tough. You know what? I think I'm going to go like you and take another wide receiver because there's a tight end I think is going to be a steal that I'm waiting on. See if I can get later on. Running back, second running back, I have no idea what to pick. So I'll leave that out there. But I think that I am going to, I'm going to take Jamison Williams off the board for Detroit. I had last year. Yeah.
So he was the other name I was looking at when I took DJ Moore. It was between Moore and Williams. I ultimately went with Moore, number 1 target for Buffalo, but I like the Jameson pick there. He's productive. He's more of a deep threat.
Definitely productive. And St. Brown, I don't remember the last time he missed a game. I don't remember the last time he was injured. So he goes down.
Well,
Williams
now
picks
you
up the
jinxed it.
slack. I guess I did. I knock on wood, but my box is plastic, so you know.
Yeah. All right, since we got a little bit of time here, knowing my mom, she likes to overthink it. So your Kyler Murray take. I'm on the opposite end.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be a top 12 quarterback this year. I think Minnesota is going to have a really great year. I think he's going to be top 12.
That might be a
I think
problem.
Minnesota's going to I think Minnesota will squeak into the playoffs, but I think Kyler Murray will be a top 12 quarterback.
No. As much as I love the Vikings, as much as I want my newborn son, who we did the Skull chant, check it out on Facebook. As much as we did that, I want them to be successful. I want them to prove me wrong, but their draft sucked. B- at best. And I think honestly, I looked at the schedule. 5-6 wins. That's it. Hot take. Whether Kyler Murray's there at the end or not, I don't know. But I don't buy my Vikings this year. I just have
I think we got our bet. I think we got our bet though. I think Kyler Murray's top 12.
I think so.
I think
Kyler Murray top 12? Heck no. Heck no. You can pay me $20, $50, $100. Ain't happening.
What do you want? You want 50 on it? I'll put 50 on it.
I'll put 50 on it. Sure. Second year, we got up the stakes, right?
All right, folks. You got your 2026 prop bet. We got Kyler Murray going top 12, baby. 50 smackers on the table. We got the Kyler meter coming. Kyler meter is coming week by week. Tune into the show every week for the Kyler meter, because that's how tall he is too.
Oh, I can't see it. I can't see it when you got to play the Bears and the Packers and the Lions twice a year, even if we're indoors.
You want my take on the You want my take on the Packers? Packers are getting last in the NFC.
That is somewhat believable. I still think the Vikings could get under 9, and the Packers could get last. Vikings not make the playoffs, and Kyler Murray be 13 on the quarterback list. And I get $50. So it is what it is.
We will see. We're gonna see. RG Harvey, Jalen Warren. I think there was a glitch in the system.
Yeah, it auto-picked
glitch in the system. Auto-picked you Trayvon Henderson.
I guess fine. I guess have the New
this sleeper app. I've been noticing this app's been having some glitches, so I'm not surprised. So that's a good one there.
I don't know. Yeah,
Terry McLaurin goes next.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad about the pick, but it's not my ideal first choice. But I mean,
right.
If Trayvon Henderson was on anybody other than New England, because I don't want too many of the same team, then I'd be okay. So,
are you worried? I'm not are you worried with? What are your thoughts on Ramondre there now that you have Trayvon Henderson? Do you think Ramondre is going to be eating into that workload, or?
We said it at the top of the broadcast, right? We said it at the top of the podcast. Trayvon's probably going to go at some point in the first few weeks. I'm probably going to pick somebody else off the waivers, and I'll probably do okay. So I'm not worried. I'm not worried at all.
Tucker Kraft. Tucker Kraft goes next.
My first. And then Marvin Harrison for Arizona.
Marvin Harrison, I'm on the clock.
5 picks are solid. I like my first 5, and if the rest are you know.
I'm going to go tight end here. I'm going to take Kyle Pitts. That way I can lock down this. Usually if Pitts is usually gone, I'm going to wait on tight end after that. But since he was there, I'm going to scoop him up. And then Stephon Diggs, now with the Commanders, goes after Pitts. Want to do a vibe check with the Diggs signing?
I got no words anymore. I mean, just ride off into the sunset. Do you think he's Hall of Fame?
He has a Minneapolis Miracle. I don't think so. I don't think so. What do you think?
No.
Yeah,
I
I
think
didn't think so.
he's
I
had
don't.
some
I don't.
great moments. He's had some Hall of Fame single moments, but as
Right.
far as the whole, whole plethora of his career, looking at it all,
Yeah.
no. No, I mean
All right, catching everybody up.
yeah, go for it.
Mike Evans, Quinshon Judkins, Roma Dunze, Christian Watson, Caleb Williams off the board. Kyle Manungai, that's an interesting one. And then Jaden Daniels off
I
the
like that pick.
board.
Yeah, I like Manunga as the
The
second.
Jaden Daniels?
He was on my.
Oh, gotcha.
No, Manunga as the second running or third running back. I don't mind that pick at all. He's on my short list for some second, third running.
Even though he's injured?
So. Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I picked him third.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, that's true. He does. Yeah, that's true. He does have love and give. So, yeah, there you go. Good point. Parker Washington, Bayshall, Tootin, couple of Jaguars. You want to do a quick vibe check on the Jaguars?
Duval?
Right?
I don't know. Their offensive line is terrible, but they've got weapons and they've got a capable coach. So, and an AFC South.
Well, speaking of Jaguars, Brian Thomas goes next, and then Dak Prescott off the board. I'm going to take a peek at the quarterbacks here. You got Hurts, Herbert, Dart, Lawrence, Stafford. I could take the stack with Puka here. Looking at who's already got quarterbacks, there's two teams after me that don't have a quarterback yet. I could risk it and take Stafford here. Or I could just scoop up another running back or a wide receiver. Looking at the running backs, I'm not too thrilled there. Not too thrilled at the wide receivers either. I think I'm just going to pull the trigger. I'm going to take the stack. I'm going to take Stafford with Puka.
Smart
I just don't like where all the other positions are. Dalton Kincaid goes next.
Definitely consideration for sure, but my guy's still there. So yeah, Kittle, Kelsey, Ferguson, Trevor Lawrence goes quarterback.
Trevor Lawrence. There's just a lot of question marks and unknowns with the Jaguars. They have a lot of weapons, but when it comes to fantasy, you kind of have to shoot your shot with the wide receivers because you have Parker, you got Brian, you have Jacoby Myers there. So you kind of just have to shoot your shot, and it looks like that's what we're doing here. Parker, Brian. I think I'm more on the Parker Washington side. There's a lot of hype coming out of camp. There's a lot of positivity coming around Parker. And Brian Thomas has just been kind of in limbo. Chuba Hubbard goes next. Jim, you're on the clock.
Here we go. I'm going to take my guy. I think this guy is going to have a bounce back season. He keeps his coach. Much better situation where he could easily be the clear number one. And I think he's got a quarterback that's going to improve. And he's got pieces around him that are going to help him get open targets. I'm going, as the book from the Bible would say, Mr. Isaiah Likely from the New York Giants.
I like the pick. I like Likely this year. He's great. It's a great pick.
I'm glad he lasted as long as he did. So I wanted to make sure I filled all my slots too. That's the thing. You don't want to get too many of one, and then you're like, oh crap, I need my second running back or my tight end.
Right. Nope. That's
changed. So
good point. Yeah, I like Likely is one that you could typically get later in the drafts, but I like it. I like him this year. He's gonna be great. Blake Corum goes next on the turn. We're gonna kick off the 8th round here. Chris Godwin. I like Chris Godwin this year too. I know Emeka Ibuka is the shiny new toy, but I think Godwin's gonna be productive.
All right. Here I go again, as the old song says. What would you pick for me?
Here? For
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
With how your team is looking, I would try to scoop up another running back here.
Not a bad
Now, I mean, you're
idea.
looking at names. You're looking at Pollard. I mean, you can shoot your shot with Dobbins. Rico seemed there's a lot of positivity around Rico at camp this year with the Steelers. I would scoop up a running back here if I was in your position.
The problem is, I really don't like any of the running backs that I have, and I'm playing a little bit of strategy for my third one. So I'm not going to take a running back. I think I'm going to go wide receiver. The question is, do I want to really roll the dice, or do I want to play it a little bit safer here? You know what? This guy's. You know what? I've got it. They've still got a really good offensive line. Yes, they run the ball a lot, but their big shot wide receiver just left, and another spot opened up on the depth chart for him to go a little bit higher. And since I already have some solid wide receivers, I've got three. I'm
Are
going
you
to
taking
take
the rookie?
Kai Lemon from Philadelphia.
Yep. Taking the rookie, folks.
Good round to do it.
I like it. I like it. With AJ Brown leaving, it's definitely there's gonna be some targets that he can scoop up for sure. Michael Wilson goes after Lemon, followed by Jonathan Brooks.
Who?
Who?
Oh, Jonathan Brooks. I thought
Exactly.
it was Johnson Brooks. But still, like,
I mean, it could be
okay,
Johnson. Well,
cool.
he's been injured since he was drafted, so
But 4 running backs, 2 wideouts.
yeah,
I don't.
he's
Do
playing
you think
keep
the running
away.
back position is back? Is it back, or is it still gone? Is it still in the past?
That's a good question. I don't think it's back, but in some of the drafts I've been doing, it seems like it. I don't know. It's just I don't think it's back. I think it's just you're gonna get those 1 or 2 teams that just play keep away with running backs because they know they get injured and they want trade bait.
You know, here's something, and you can fill me in on some additional information, but I haven't heard anything other than maybe some disciplinary issues. Jordan Addison,
Yeah.
Minnesota, still on the board.
Yes. So I have a theory on that. I'll do my pick here and then we'll go with that theory. Since I've only got 2 running backs here, I don't love the running backs either. Looking at the wide receivers, there's a couple names I like. You know, I could go a homer. I could take Sutton here. If Alec Pierce wasn't injured, I'd probably take him here. You have Addison, you have Jacoby, you have Downs. I'm not too Metcalf, I think, is out of his prime, even though I love him. I'm gonna roll the dice since I have 2 solid running backs I think are solid in Montgomery and Williams. I'm gonna shoot my shot. I'm gonna go with Rico here. I like the vibes coming out of Steelers camp with Rico. And then Kenny Gainwell goes next. So with Jordan Addison, I think it's more the fact that we're expecting him to screw up again. And he just can't stay out of trouble. And so I think that is why he's dropping in drafts. That's why he hasn't really been talked about. Because we know something's going to happen. Because it always happens. Now, I could be wrong. I could be overthinking this. But I think that's what it is. Now, you being the Vikings fan, where's your vibes there with Addison?
Again, I said it before. I'll say it again. The Vikings are messed up this year. I don't think Kevin O'Connell magic will help much.
Okay, we got Ramondre.
And DK Metcalf as well. But yeah, to finish that last point, I don't think enough KOC magic exists.
Justin Herbert goes next, and Jalen Hurts taking a pair of quarterbacks. It looks like he wants some depth at that position. I'm out on Hurts. He's my best pick, so that's where I'm sitting at there. Justin Herbert's a nice grab there. I'm surprised he lasted this long, but I like Herbert here this year. Jordan Mason goes off the board. He was in consideration for sure, and we'll see what Mark has next. I really thought about Jordan Mason. Oh, welcome back,
Thank
Jim.
you. Yeah. Not sure what the connection issues is. We had a better connection last year in the same spot, but
it's an intense draft. The internet can't handle it.
It is. Yeah, I know. I got to step out every time, Kevin O'Connell gets whispered. I have to just mantra.
When you were briefly away, I was mentioning that Jordan Mason was a name that I was thinking about there at the Rico pick. Do you think it's Mason's job, or is Aaron Jones still going to be relative to the offense?
That's kind of what I was waiting for. I was waiting to see which one would be picked first, and then I guess I'm leaving the cat out of the bag as Addison gets picked. But if Jones is still up there, I'm going to take him.
Yep.
He could be like a Montgomery, where 6 yards out.
So I'm on the clock. All right, I'm going to go wide receiver here. Since it looks like a lot of them are going, I'm going to follow the trend. There's a couple names here I like. You have Matthew Golden. You have Concepcion. Robinson, who just got sent over to the Titans. I'm going to get a piece of the Jaguars offense. I'm going to take Jacoby. Maybe he'll
get targets.
Squeeze in there. Jackson Dart goes next. To kind of catch everybody up. Cortland Sutton, George Kittle goes, Jaden Reed, Jordan Tyson, and then, like you said, Addison and Downs before my Myers pick. And then KC Concepcion, the rookie, goes after Dart. So the news on Kittle, looks like Kittle is meeting with the surgeon that operated on his injury in January, and it's a good vibe check. It seems like he's making great progress with that injury, so he could be back sooner than we think, but we'll have to monitor his injury for sure. But he's a nice tight end to take and then quickly pair him up while he is potentially on the pup. I was just catching everybody up on the whole Kittle situation. He was meeting up with his surgeon that he had this past week to kind of just go over a few things with the injury. Tony Pollard goes, and James takes Aaron Jones, calling his shot on the Minnesota Vikings.
Gotta have a Viking on the lineup, third running back. So we'll see.
J.K. Dobbins goes next. I was kind of hoping he'd make it back to me for my Bronco pick, but not sure how she's going to go with this one here. She's got 4 running backs already. I got to imagine she's going to take a wide receiver. Nope, she took her backup quarterback, Jared Goff.
Ooh, Goff and Allen. Solid duo. Solid.
That's a good combo there.
Here's the thing. He's still beating guys in practice. I mentioned that I was kind of done, but I guess there's no bad blood between me and Mr. Swift. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, Mr. Travis Kelce. So I'm going to take him as my backup tight end.
I was wondering when Kelce was going to go in this draft. Bo Nix would have loved him as my backup, but Megan takes him there. The rookie Stribling, who's been kind of making a name for himself, goes next. Michael Pittman.
Ton of quarterbacks.
So you have Mahomes, you got Purdy, you got Mayfield, you got Love, you got Chuck, Darnold, they're still there. There is a backfield I kind of want to dip my toe in here. It's just a matter of who do I want to shoot my shot on. You have Krosky Merritt. You have Rashad White. I think with the vibes that I'm getting out of camp, I'm going to go with Krosky Merritt. I think he is the dude there in Washington. I think Rashad White will be more of a veteran presence. So I'm going to shoot my shot with Krosky Merritt.
As much as, well, yeah, Krosky Merritt was one of my choices a while back, but that Washington offensive line is just garbage. I think they're last in Pro Football Focus or near the bottom. So,
yeah.
stay away.
Yeah, I've been staying away from the Commanders this year. And the whole 5 thing from Daniels, I don't understand. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that or if you've been following that whole
Stupid
drama
This
in Washington
absolutely
with 5.
Absolutely, you haven't proven that you're worthy of retiring that number.
Right.
I love all the memes that have come out against it, though. That's been fun.
Oh, they're perfect. They're perfect. Brock Purdy goes next. I really like Brock Purdy this year. I know the Niners are suffering a lot of injuries, but I like Brock Purdy this year.
Always a solid option, for sure.
We'll see who Chloe takes here. Still really mad about the Burrow pick, but respect. Mahomes, so she gets her back up, and then followed by Jake Ferguson. Since we got kind of a lull period here.
Yeah. It's where you're getting to the
so
end
last
of
year
the
just kind of.
Oh, sorry, man.
No, you're good. You're good. What were we saying?
You're getting to the end of the draft. You're looking at what you got. You're looking at who you don't have. Have you stacked your quarterback, wide receiver? Do you have some guys on different teams that you're not going to have? Like in my situation, too many guys on one team that and week in, week out are going to take points away from each other. So you can maybe roll the dice a little bit. Maybe go for some rookies. Go for some guys at the end of their careers. Maybe bring a couple of games that maybe you think there's a matchup that works really well for them, or somebody gets injured and you already have them on the roster, to try and fight for them on waivers when they get good. So this is where it gets really interesting.
Yeah, this is where you're just kind of like looking for the upside. Some people, depending on how they built their team, some like to get their handcuffed. Like if you get say Christian McCaffrey or Barkley or somebody that has been injured before, maybe get their backup, late in the draft, So yeah, this is where it gets really interesting, and the picks are going to get wild here. But yeah, like I was saying, so last year, just kind of catch everybody up who hasn't really watched the show if this is your new episode. So this is our second year doing this draft. We follow this league through the whole year. We'll have a winner. So Alpaca 300 here, who has returned. He was the winner last year. He went up against Megan in the championship. Jim and I, we battled for third, and unfortunately, the man with the better team, Mr. James, beat me out for third. So we'll try again this year. I picked from the third spot last year, and then James, like I said at the top of the draft, he's picking out 11th again, which Sleeper has a funny sense of humor with their algorithm when they draft people. So just to kind of recap everybody who is new to the show and didn't know that this is our second year. All right, catch everybody up. We've got Deebo Samuel, Spears, Dallas Goedert, Mark Andrews, a couple of tight ends on the turn, Rashad White, Jalen Coker, Quentin Johnston, TJ Hawkinson, and Khalil Shakir. I'm on the clock. I think I'm sitting pretty good at running back and wide receiver. Let's take a peek at the quarterbacks. Maybe I can get somebody to back up Stafford. You got Mayfield, you got Love. I like Shuck this year. You got Darnold. I could go with the rookie Mendoza. I could stack Nico with Stroud. This is kind of tough. There's some names I like here. I think I'm going to keep things interesting, and I'm going to go with Baker Mayfield.
Solid choice. Yep. Even though there's some griping going on, he's still a solid player. Still going to get his points.
I believe him when he says that once the season starts, he won't be pissed off for bringing up contract talk. So I think he will be laser focused on football, and he's great when he does that. Tyler Algier goes next, and Lane. I think he's the rookie from Baltimore, if I remember right. Jacoby Lane. Make it on the clock here. So with the Jeremiah Love injury, a lot of consensus is gearing towards Tyler Algier being the dude, at least for the first week, if Love is ruled out. But I think either way, Tyler Algier is going to be productive. Just like he was in Atlanta behind Bijan, he is going to take up some of those opportunities. And then Alec Pierce goes next after Lane. We do have James on the clock.
Let's make it easy. Sam Darnold, done.
Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold, he's old reliable.
Old reliable. Yeah, he's like a dog now. You're about to put down, but still maybe has a few last good tricks. This is what happens when we get late in the draft. Bad jokes coming out.
Yeah,
We love you, Sam. You're still great.
All right, we're on the final turn here. Mama Opitz making her last 2 picks. We got Rashid Shaheed.
Speedster going again.
He's going to get work, that's for sure. Matthew Golden. I was kind of hoping he'd make it back to me, but I like the pick there. Shoot your shot on the Packer wide receiver. All right, where's your head at with your last pick here, James?
You know what? I got everybody covered. This guy's going to get some looks. Maybe a second-year quarterback improves. Let's just go Wan'Dale Robinson right off the cuff and call her a day. Not my favorite draft, but you know what? There's plenty of season to go, so I'm not worried.
I like the pick. I like Cam Ward. I like, just shooting your shot on one of those wide receivers because one of them is just going to get targets from Ward. I think he's going to get improvement this year. I like the pick. That's a good one. Jordan Love goes next to pair up with Bo Nix. It's interesting. A Vikings fan taking the quarterback of the Packers.
He's good when he has the right pieces.
He is good. I like him.
So.
Yep. They'll need Christian Watson to stay healthy. If they lose him, it's going to be pretty difficult for Love.
I'm trying to think. Has there been a team that hasn't had a player picked yet?
That's a good question. Kind of scanning the board here. I think we've had to have gotten everyone.
Do we have a Jet?
Because the Browns with Concepcion.
Miami went with A-Chan, but do we have a Jet?
I think we've gotten everything. Garrett Wilson with the Jets.
Garrett Wilson, there it is. Yep. Wouldn't that be sad if you made it through a whole draft pick a player from a team? Just said, you know what? I'm good with the 4th string running back from Philadelphia. I don't want to pick anybody from the Jets.
I mean, the one that comes to mind is definitely the Browns because you really have Fannin. And I mean, you have Judkins, but so I mean, if Fannin doesn't go, there really isn't any other Browns that anyone's going to be excited to take.
I tell you what, it's going to be a fun year. Lots of games overseas, including one in Mexico City. I'm not too far from it right now. So it's going to be fun.
So it looked like the system decided to give me Romeo Dobbs, which is unfortunate because I would have taken a tight end there. But I'll take Romeo, or if we're out without Romeo, I guess. And then Xavier Worthy goes after. Right before me was Juwan Johnson and Oronde Gadsden, one of my bust picks this year as well. All right. Brian Robinson goes. Hunter Henry goes. 3 picks left in the draft. Alpaca, Mark, and Mr. Dave. Zach Charbonnet, Tyler Shuck. And we'll see who Mr. Irrelevant is in this year's draft. Tank Dell. So this year's Mr. Irrelevant is Tank Dell. All right, so that is the draft. How are you feeling with how everything shook up there?
I feel okay. I feel safe. You know, like my nice warm blanket. Like it's not. I don't feel as good as I did last year about my team as a whole. I feel really good about like my first 5 or 6 picks, and then after that, it's like, I got some work to do on the waivers. You know, I might see how the first couple weeks go, but again, you just it's how you start, it's how you finish. I don't know. You're gonna have to really work on your waivers for the tight end. You're gonna have to get probably a secondary tight end. I don't think
this is gonna be the system. Like I said, the system. Yeah, the system decided to give me a wide receiver there. I was gonna take a tight end there, so I'll probably scope out the tight ends on the waiver at some point and just kind of plug and play. But yep, I'm gonna have to work on my tight end room there. But for the most part, I'm feeling good, especially with my first few picks with Puka, Nico, DJ Moore as my wide receiver core, David Montgomery, Javonte as my running backs. I feel pretty solid with how this team went. Any last minute thoughts you want to throw out to all the viewers out there before we close this out?
Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging with us, and follow us all season long.
Absolutely. James will be coming on periodically throughout the season as his schedule permits it. Get his takes. And we will follow the Kyler Murray meter as our prop bet this year. Top 12 is Kyler Murray. All right. Thanks for tuning in to the draft, everybody. I hope this kind of helps you with the different strategies that we went through, different vibe checks we did for each team. You can go ahead and follow this league. I'll post updates on the socials, on the websites as we go through. This is a season-long league that we do. If you want to join next year, I'll post all the news announcements and things like that if you guys want to join this league next year and play with us. It's a lot of fun. It's a typical, we don't do kickers, we don't do defenses, we do strictly offense just to keep things interesting. But it is a season-long league, so we'll update you guys and we'll have a winner at the end of the season. It goes through week 17 as the championship, just like every normal fantasy league does. So go ahead and follow us there. Watch the show every week as I recap all the weekly occurrences, all the craziness that happens in the matchups. We'll do the Show Me the Money. We'll come back where I do a bet every week. Coming up next, we'll have a double feature episode with the division breakdown, division warfare. We'll do the AFC divisions where I basically order the divisions on how I think they will end at the end of the season, as well as doing the over-unders for the game wins. Then we'll do the NFC in part 2. If we can, we'll have James pop on for the NFC if he is able to get his takes on the NFC North. But that is what we're looking at. And then we'll do a season kickoff episode at the beginning of September after the Division Warfare. So a lot of content coming out. Go ahead and check out all the other episodes from the show this season. This episode will post immediately tonight as we kind of wrap things up and do all the editing and everything we need to do it. Check out the official website of the podcast, endzone-report.com, where you can check out all the news, injuries, all the rankings, all the episodes you can watch on there. Also watch the show on YouTube and Spotify. You can listen to it on the audio version on whatever podcast you deem worthy. So until next time, keep your eyes on the end zone, everybody.